from your textbook, we want to find the distance between those 2 points. So the distance would be the square root of the difference of the x's squared plus the difference of the y squared. Notice the number under there, under the radical, will never be negative, because I'm squaring whatever this is, I'm squaring whatever that is. These are 2 positive numbers. A positive plus a positive is a positive. So this is going to be, the x's is going to be 2 minus a minus 1 squared and 4 minus 0 squared, which is the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, which is the square root of 9 plus 16. You can tell this is a book problem. Why is that? Well, you get the square root of 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. The distance is 5 units, whatever the units happens to be. Feet, I don't require you to put units down, but it's what it is. It is 5 units, whatever the unit measurement is, because it is a measurement. Now what this is doing, it's setting up a formula for the distance between, if I look at the picture, the origin and any point on the line x equal y, because it's a and a. X and y are the same. So it says you pick a point on the origin and any point on the line x equal y. This is going to give you a formula for the distance. So it's very specific. So what's the distance? Well, d is equal to the square root of, and then since this is 0, I'm just going to make this be my first point. So I'm going to do a minus 0. Now I'll do the first one, a minus 0, difference of the x's. Now if I would have gone the other direction and said 0 minus a, notice since I'm squaring it, it doesn't matter the order I put it in, because I square anything, it becomes positive. So d is equal to the square root of a squared plus a minus a squared, or d is equal to the square root of a squared plus a squared, or d is equal to the square root of 2a squared, and I'm not necessarily done. I would necessarily simplify it personally if I were doing something with it. That's perfectly good enough, except your book would want it simplified. What does it simplify to?
A-rad 2.
What is it? A-rad 2? Almost, but it's a distance. And what do I know about distance? It is always positive. Yes. Now that says if I say it's a rad 2, and it hasn't, does it say that a has to be a positive number? No. That says if you give me 2 negative numbers, negative 2, negative 2, this guy turns out to be a negative number, because a would be negative 2. Is distance ever negative? No. You can write this in one of 2 ways. You can say, I'm going to take care of this sucker and put absolute values around the whole thing. Or you could just put absolute values around the a to force distance to be positive. That's one of those tricky little things. The only time you would actually worry about it, quite honestly, is if you were essentially having a computer program that was running these numbers, because it would come out with negative numbers and you say, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because distance is always positive. You want to make sure that, especially if you were then using that thing as part of another calculation, then what would happen is it would really screw you up, and it would screw all your numbers up. So that's where you'd have to be very careful. If you were doing it yourself, you know that distance is never negative, so what would you do? Make it positive. The next formula that comes into play is what's called the midpoint formula. That's where I have a line segment. And here's my line segment. And what I want is that middle point between the line segment. Now, it's a fairly easy formula to remember because all it is, it's you add the x's together divided by 2, add the y's together divided by 2. I look at this as the average of the x's and y's. Average of the x's, average of the y's. Add the y's together divided by 2, add the x's together divided by 2. By the way, for those of you who are going to go on, this follows you into 3 dimensions. If you had x, y, z, it would be the sum of the x's divided by 2, the sum of the y's divided by 2, the sum of the z's divided by 2. That's where you would be in 3 dimensions. It's really cool. Distance formula is the same thing. You would add the difference of the z's squared. Cool. Just how beautifully things flow together. No? Why am I the only one that ever appreciates this?
Because we're all tired.
Oh, I can understand that. So, okay, so let's find the midpoint of this sucker. It's just a plug and chug. So x sub m, y sub m, midpoint, I use that m for midpoint, is add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. This is going to become 0 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2, which is what? 0, 2, yeah. So there's your midpoint.